My name is John Brophy, and I started Intune about 5 years ago when my teaching business got too busy to do it all in my dining room. And so we started the school in a couple rooms above the Maplewood Theater in Maplewood Village, and we steadily grew by hiring teachers and just teaching one-on-one lessons, individuals and groups. We had rock bands, we had choirs, we had adults, we had kids. And then COVID hit, and we now are mostly on Zoom. But recently we did this summer a couple of nice things. We did some outdoor classes at Rickleton Square for ukulele. We've done a rock band where we've just basically loaned all the equipment to a family who are having a rock band in their garage, and our teachers are going and teaching the same class. And we are also working on some in-person classes through Maplewood Township this fall at the Woodland and at the Bergdorf Center. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you all know that I'm recording this Zoom meeting. Is everybody okay with that? Jazz clap if you're fine with that. We good? Okay. If you do not appreciate being recorded, you may leave the meeting, teachers included. Anyway, so what I want to do is introduce you to our teachers, but I also presented a little presentation to run through, and then we'll just talk about what we do, and then I'll let you ask some questions and meet the teachers. Does that sound good? I'll take that as yes. Okay, so I'm just going to do a screen share, and let's see. Has everybody got that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thanks for showing up. We're Intune. We're Maplewood's neighborhood music school. We've been around for 5 years. It's really fun, and I'm really proud of our teachers and really proud of our students. And it's just the greatest. So we are excited to be heading into a fall season. We were actually busier this last summer than any other summers we've ever had. And so we just want to ride that momentum into the fall. So we do a lot of Facebook marketing, a lot of Instagram, but we used to do a lot of in-person stuff like the Maplewood Art Walk and Maple Woodstock and the Springfield Avenue Mayfest. And those events are just not happening at the moment. So we just thought a virtual open house would be kind of nice. I think Dylan, you might remember about 4 or 5 years ago when we did that first open house for ukulele lessons at the school.
Swamped. That was crazy.
And you and I, it was about 30 or 40 people came, and it was like, Dylan, talk about ukulele while I take their coats. So hopefully this will go more smoothly than that. So I just want to go over who we are and what we offer. Keep it simple. Who, what, where, when, and why. We have a mission. We have a purpose. We have a philosophy. And we teach lessons both online and in person, individually and in groups. So here's a picture of where we're located. In Rickleton Square, we had some outdoor classes. I think I don't see the neon sign, but we're in that last window on the right in the Maplewood Theater building. If you want in-person lessons, that's still an option. You can still have lessons at the school above the Maplewood Theater. So we really want to contribute to Maplewood Village. We have a great pizza place, great bookstore, great toy shop. I think we have a great music school now at Intune. So we have 16 teachers, roughly 150 students, all ages and levels, all instruments. We do cello, flute, saxophone, banjo, upright bass. Nah, I'm not sure we're doing any upright bass, but we do cello. And then all the rock band instruments, piano, vocal, guitar, and uke. So today, helping me out is Dylan Gleason, Katie Willie, and Jesse Rivera. They're 3 of our long-term busiest teachers. Jesse, what are you drinking there? That looks like something very healthy.
You can see this? I'm having soda. It's funny. I didn't know I could be seen.
Jesse's been teaching Zoom lessons all summer long and apparently just figuring it out. Okay. Anyway, Dylan, Katie, and Jesse are very versatile teachers. They teach between them, they cover just about all the instruments, maybe not woodwinds. But as we go through, you'll get a chance to ask each of them questions. Dylan, I think he's been with us the longest. Guitar, bass, drums, voice, start a band, and songwriting classes. Actually, Dylan, I'm not sure you teach voice. Should that be piano instead of voice?
It should definitely be piano. I mean, you can try to sign up for voice lessons with me, but it wouldn't be fun.
He can recite poetry. He can sing as good as Bob Dylan. Anyway, you got any words to say, Dylan, before they start asking you impossible questions?
Nothing. I think John said I've been with the school the longest. I think I actually remember when you were still going out of the dining room. I was there with you for a few of those lessons. So I've like literally grown up with the school now after 5 years at this point. So it's definitely something I've got a lot of respect for John and the school we built, and it's very, very cool to see how far we've come in that much time.
Awesome. Katie Willie is a master's student at Westminster Choir College and teaches voice and piano, songwriting, guitar, uke, and early childhood music classes. She took over from me with a lot of the group lessons for ukulele and guitar, and of course the early childhood music. And those have been a little challenging on Zoom, so we are retooling and going to get it back to in person with help from the Maplewood Division of Cultural Affairs. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. Katie, did you want to say anything?
I think you covered it already. I have been with Intune for a little over a year. I started at the beginning of last summer. And yeah, I started on piano when I was young, also started singing through college. And yes, I'm getting my master's degree now. And yeah, before working here, I taught in an elementary school in New York City for 4 years and taught music there. So I'm hoping that we can get some in-person interaction for this fall through what John is speaking of, the Maplewood Arts Council. Is that what it is? I'm hoping we can get some in-person interaction so we could hopefully launch the early childhood music class again.
Awesome. Yeah. And Jesse Rivera has been with us, I think 3.5 years now.
I started 2018.
2018. Okay.
Fall of 2018.
So you're well through your third year or second. Yeah, starting out your third year. Okay.
Yeah.
Guitar, bass, drums, voice, anything rock and roll, plus a lot of classical piano, and start a band, which is our group rock band class, and songwriting as well. Do you have any words to say, Jesse?
Not really. I mean, is Ann there? I know Ann from years ago.
I know Jesse.
Ann Zaccardo.
How's it going, Ann?
Yes. Hey. All good. Still playing piano, still playing in the band.
Cool. That's awesome. You guys are still not touring, but playing out?
You know, we
Well,
had
not now, recently, but before that?
Oh yeah, yeah, we're together, hard to believe, almost 15 years
Wow.
this year.
I taught
And-
Ann years ago when I was working at the School of Rock, which is funny. Like, this is like, what are we talking now? Like 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Maybe even more. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And what's the name of your band?
So we're called the Mood Swings.
Okay.
And actually, John, years ago, I took an adult guitar class with you at Maplewood Adult School.
I
And
remember.
Sadly, I was a bad student. There were like 2 chords I learned and my nails were too long. And I was like, I like piano better, but it was a really good class. I was just a bad guitar student.
That's awesome. And your name looked very familiar, and I think it's because Dan Zaccardo is one of my guitar students.
He is, and he's always sending us videos of him playing anything that he hopes that we'll listen to.
Yeah, and our lessons have morphed into he's been going to Dylan's jam sessions,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
which are also in person.
Yeah,
Great,
he's a rock and roll lawyer now.
that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a mission and a purpose, and our mission, and teachers, you can just put your hand up if you disagree, is to create a musical community where we learn, share, and elevate the importance of music by establishing personal connections between teachers, students, and parents through fun and friendly music lessons. So there. And
There you go.
Sorry, hold on.
bark if you agree. Why we do it? We want to inspire students to achieve their musical goals and keep music as a valuable part of life. There's enough going on, especially during COVID, that it's really important. I think anyone who plays in a band or jams with friends has been impacted by not being able to get together, and so doing as much as we can. So I think our philosophy is the best, our method is the best, because we teach fun lessons where you learn music fundamentals through the songs you love. I've always thought there's not a lot of time to work on stuff you're not interested in. So you're motivated by songs you love and get excited about. And all the music theory you'd ever need to know is in your favorite song. And you can just find out and work on stuff you don't know and hook it up with what you do and just start playing. So, it's problem solving. It makes you smarter, keeps your brain young. What we offer, mostly on Zoom at the moment, guitar. The names in parentheses were people I was going to defer to as some, if there's any discussion, but it's very fluid. If you have questions, you can ask anybody. Guitar, ukulele, piano, voice, strings, violin, violoncello, woodwinds. Chris Gold is our saxophone flute teacher. Bass, I think mostly Dylan. Jesse, I think you probably have taught a few bass lessons as well.
Yeah.
Drums, Jesse and Dylan. We have, for expert drummers, we have two other awesome teachers, Will Eversden and David Longworth. And we do Suzuki violin with Ruth, and I do Suzuki guitar as well. Ruth is trained through book 4, and I am trained through book 1. So, in-person lessons, we did them this summer. Mostly Dylan was doing them, so you can ask any questions to him. 6 foot social distance is not hard to achieve in an empty room, with blue tape in the corners and the music stands set apart. I think, Dylan, you had some fairly busy Wednesdays and slightly busy Mondays in person.
Yeah, a handful of students who came in, but it was nice. Everybody so far has been very understanding and very safe about the whole thing, so it's been pretty easy to make it work.
Okay. We have a 5-room school. I think the rules are to keep it down to like 25% capacity. So we have one teacher in each of the big rooms. That's kind of what we're shooting for. So this fall, most of the teachers are still mostly on Zoom, and a handful of them are available a couple days, 1 or 2 days a week, to come in for in-person lessons. Very exciting new thing we're doing with Maplewood Division of Arts and Culture is our play guitar group classes, our play ukulele group classes, a ready to play piano group class for I think 6 to 8 year olds, and early childhood music for 4 or 5, 6 year olds, and our rock band start a band class. We're working with them to schedule these at the Bergdorf Center and at the Woodland. We would have an hour-long class, and then the township comes in and cleans, and then we have another class an hour later. So it's very, very controlled. Anything in person in groups will be done there with help from them. And so that was it. So I'm gonna stop the screen share and open up for questions if anybody's got questions. Let me know. I don't know. We can unmute everybody. Can everybody unmute themselves? Okay, great.
Can
So
I ask a question?
yes.
So I'm interested in wait 1 second. My kid is gonna turn 5 in October, and we were thinking about having some kind of music classes for him. And of course, with like whole COVID, that idea is like, and we're not really sure how that is going to work exactly. So I'm quite curious to hear whether you are also doing Zoom classes with kids as young as 5-year-old, and if that is even possible. You know, like the attention span is of course is not as good as like with older kids. Abel, can you wait? Sorry, that's why I'm like.
Um, Katie's raising her hand, but the person who asked the question has just left the room. So, Katie, yeah, I'd like to let you answer that question. Maybe,
Sure.
maybe when she gets back.
Yes, there we go. Hi.
Sorry.
Are you enacting a 5-year-old on a Zoom call? You're just like,
I know he's
you're
just
just
like
gone and nobody knows where you
that's
are.
basically like that's why I'm wondering whether it could work or not. He's being a bit frustrated right now. So,
Okay.
anyways,
No worries. So to answer your question in a short way, yes, we do teach lessons online to kids as young as 5. I've had 2 over this summer that were 5 years old, and they were continuing their piano lessons. Back in the spring, I had a few other younger students as well that decided to not continue over the summer, whether not doing well with the online component of it, or just because they were not wanting to continue over the summer and were maybe doing something different. So in terms of the attention span thing, it really depends from kid to kid. I had some 5-ish, 6-year-olds that really couldn't maintain focus after being in person with me and then switching to Zoom when we did in March. They were kind of struggling with that, and others were really okay with it. So it really depends on the kid. I also would love to bring up again what John just mentioned about those in-person classes that would possibly be at the Woodland. He mentioned both there's an early childhood music class, which I'm actually gearing more towards like 3 and 4 years old students, or they wouldn't be students yet, but children who are not in kindergarten yet. And then the Ready to Play class is going to be based on a curriculum that is for 5-ish, 6-ish year olds kids who haven't started music lessons yet. So it's like kind of a musicianship course, and we're hoping to have it start and launch. We're waiting for confirmation for it to be at the Woodland. But for that class, I'm sure John can confirm this, but of course, we will be following all the protocols, and everyone will be distance apart. Our maximum will be 5 students for that. So it would be me and 5 students, and we'll provide the equipment for that, and we'll have it, sanitized before and after. So you either do have the option of doing Zoom lessons, which are one-on-one, or if you feel comfortable and you're interested in that, you could enroll your child in the Ready to Play piano class. Because again, it's kind of like a class that will experiment a little bit on piano, but it's not quite a piano lesson. It's more like being exposed to musicianship and different aspects of it, and then having that help them prepare to start piano lessons and be able to move forward.
That's Zoom classes you're talking about, right?
That class would be in person.
Oh, that's the in-person class. It's more like the exposure to musicianship and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's either, so I guess what we're saying is our options are either we can do Zoom one-on-one lessons, or we are looking to launch that class, which would be in person, properly distanced, wearing masks, everything sanitized through the Woodland.
And Katie, one thing that just crossed my mind is if that in-person class does launch, perhaps we could have it on video and put it out on Zoom simultaneously. That I just thought of that. I'm not sure if that is possible for sure, but.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the finalizing stage of this. I know, John, you're still in contact with the Arts Council, and we're trying to confirm the planning. So I can't fully guarantee that it'll go on as we're describing it now. But of course, Zoom lessons are definitely going to be an option. And so, yes, we can talk, John, more about possibly making that class have an online component as well, kind of calling in through Zoom. That could be an option too. So we're still figuring out the in-person possibilities, just like everyone else. All
Yeah,
the schools
exactly.
everywhere
Yeah.
and all the people everywhere. But definitely, I can confirm that we will have one-on-one Zoom lessons available, and we have taught 5-year-olds.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And do you have any questions? Yes.
Too. So my daughter, who usually lives in LA now that she's grown up, is home for a while, just doing quarantining here instead of out there. And we were trying to think of like things to do to pass the time. And so she used to play guitar, but we were wondering like maybe a couple of guitar lessons, but she's only going to be here probably for a little over a month. So I was wondering, do you do like lesson to lesson, or do you have to sign up for the whole like fall season?
Well, first of all, with Zoom, she can keep going when she goes back to California.
Yeah, there's a 3-hour time difference.
She'll just have to get up at 4 a.m, if you don't mind. But what we've been asking people is a monthly commitment. You know, if you sign up, I'll book you for the year to save your time slot. And we bill monthly, and if you want to stop, we just ask you might finish that month, just to, you know, so she could take, I mean, she could take a handful of lessons, she could do 1 month, you know, or whatever it needs to be. If you know you're moving October 30th, then we can do lessons through October 30th, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we were just thinking of things, ways to,
Yeah, I mean, one of the,
but she'll,
one of the things that a lot of people found out about these Zoom lessons is, well, yes, it's not face-to-face. It's also, you don't have to drive into town. If you have to reschedule, everybody's a little more flexible on each end. So I think it's been enabling in a lot of ways. We've had some people that have told us it's a little more focused, the lesson, because you're not at a nice school with posters on the wall and a drum set in the corner and other people to say hello to. You're just there, dialed in. And then when it comes time to doing it, if you have a cough, you can still do the lesson. You know, you're not going to get anybody sick, and so that doesn't put anybody out. So on the other side, on the other end of that, we've become a little bit more flexible. Just, you know, if it's not that disruptive to teach a partial term of lessons.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Then I was maybe thinking of taking drum lessons, but I don't have drums in my house, so that would have to be. Do you do in person for drums?
No, I think anything that requires heavy breathing is verboten, and proper drumming definitely gets aerobic. And to be honest, we've loaned our drum set to the rock band on Bowdoin Street, or on Oberlin Street. So any drum lessons you'd probably need to get a drum pad or your own snare drum.
It was just, now and then I would sit in at band practice if our drummer wasn't there, and I'm like, I'll try it, and it was kind of fun. But I don't have any technique and don't know what I'm doing.
Your friend the drummer probably has loads of stuff in the garage that he could loan you. That might be an option.
Oh, and it's all women. We're an all women band. Our drummer is everyone's a woman. So
Awesome.
anyway, yeah.
Is your daughter going to join the band this fall or no?
What's that?
Is your daughter going to join the band for a little bit?
You know, maybe she would do some backup singing or something.
Okay. All right, great.
All right, so those were my questions.
Okay, well, let me know if I can sign her up with any
Okay.
of these fine teachers you see on the screen.
All right, we'll think about it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Tom Tenda or Alex, do you have any questions?
Hi, so this is Tom Tender's mom. So Tom Tender is 6 and he'll be new to formal music lessons. So we're just trying to see what would be best for him. A friend had recommended the Suzuki violin.
Yeah.
So how would that look like? So in terms of the violin, are there violins to rent?
Yes, there's a great store near my house called Finley and Gage, and I can send you their information. They rent violins, to the school system, and they also rent them, on a one-to-one basis. I think it's something like $17 a month, and your money goes towards the purchase if you decide to purchase it. Our Suzuki lessons with Ruth are wonderful. They work over Zoom very well, and I can put you in touch with her if you have more questions.
Okay, so you said the Suzuki lessons are with Ruth?
Yes,
Okay.
she could
Okay.
not make it today. Her schedule got disrupted, so she was going to be here to answer questions. But I can put you in touch.
Okay.
Do I have your email, Tumten? Or
Yes, you do. You have both. We were both on the email.
okay.
Actually, no, it was just only me. I think. But you responded to me in the morning today.
And what is your name? I'm just seeing Tumten.
Judith
Okay, great.
Jamba, JHAMBA.
Great. Okay, so I'll send you Ruth's information, and you can contact her. How's that sound?
Yes, that sounds good. So for a 6-year-old, what would you recommend in terms of getting him started?
In terms of which classes or which instruments?
Yes, with both, which instruments and classes actually.
Well, it depends. I mean, Suzuki violin really works with the youngsters. It's kind of a musical immersion. It's not all about the instrument itself. There's a lot of learning music, hearing music, being able to create the music yourself, and then producing a beautiful tone on the violin is part of it. And it's just laid out so nicely that it really works. So
Okay.
I would recommend that.
Okay. We'll try that first. Yes.
Okay. I would say in some cases, if you were asking about guitar, but for a 6-year-old, it seems gigantic and difficult, I would maybe steer a 6-year-old towards ukulele because it's easier and more fun and cheaper and makes you sing, and everything you learn can be applied to guitar later on. So there's always that. So, but I would like you to talk to Ruth. I think you'd come away pretty excited about that.
Okay, thanks. That sounds good.
Any other questions? I think we're kind of at the end a little bit. No questions? No questions?
Hey, John, it's Alex.
Okay.
I guess you just kind of answered the question I had because I do have a guitar at home, and I was going to, and he seemed quite interested and keen to learn it. So I was going to ask how that like you mentioned, it does look like he's struggling with it when he's holding it. So yeah, definitely. The other instrument you proposed is what is
A
it?
ukulele. It's
Oh.
like a smaller guitar with only 4 strings.
Okay.
You can get one for $49, and
Okay.
it can be blue with a toucan painted on the front, and
Okay.
or rainbow or a surfboard.
Okay.
And they're very easy to play and loads of fun.
Okay.
And if you and Tom Tenda wanted to take what's called a duet lesson, that's a 1-on-2 lesson where you would both take the lesson together with a teacher.
Okay.
We can do that. Those usually work pretty well.
Okay. Perfect.
And
I'll take that up for sure.
yeah,
All right.
and all our lessons are.
And pianos for that age.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not too early to start.
Okay.
Katie, do you want to talk about the typical life of a 6-year-old piano player?
Sure. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I have had, and I do still have quite a few students who are 5 or 6 years old. And so it is definitely possible to do lessons, especially over Zoom. I'll focus more on, encouraging them to listen and giving them kind of prompts to encourage their ear training so that they can listen and play the piano and kind of explore in that way. And we also do have a book that we use, which we can send information for you to order. But even sometimes with the younger beginning students, we don't even look at notation yet. It's kind of like reading a book. You don't put a book in front of your 18-month-old, you are starting to speak to them. So in the same way, I kind of do exercises where I just show them, or we listen back and forth. So it's definitely possible to start on piano with an age 5 or age 6-year-old student. That's pretty typical, really.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, I encourage you to visit our website. It's intunemaplewood.com. If you want to sign up, we have a online lessons tab where you can click the lesson you're looking for and hit search. And if you want lessons with Jesse, when you hit search, you'll see all the days and times Jesse's available, and Dylan and Katie and anybody else. So if you're looking for Suzuki violin, Ruth's name will come back up. Suzuki guitar, it'll be me. And then you can just purchase one lesson, and then we'll do it and then take it from there. So if anybody needs any help getting to the website, let me know. I think we've all been emailing back and forth. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for this. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
I gotta go.
Okay. Well, it's good to see you.
Bye.
And, let's keep in touch. And before you sign up, oh, there she goes. I was going to ask her daughter's name. Okay, so Alex and Judith, any other questions?
None from me. Thank you.
Okay.
I will definitely look up the website and determine next moves for sure. Thank you so much.
Great. You're welcome. Okay.
No other questions. So I'll also send you Alex's email too on the chat right now.
Great.
Or I'll respond to the email.
Okay, great. Okay, great. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Teachers, maybe stay on for just an extra second after Judith and Alex sign off. That sound good? Cool.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye. Okay.